Hey, today we want to talk about some of the pros and cons of purchasing an existing home. A lot of clients come and ask us, should I buy new construction or should I buy an existing home? Now, the house I currently live in is one that we purchased about 8 years ago. And what was really interesting, because at the time that we bought this house, we actually looked around and said, should we build or should we buy an existing home? Now, this has been 8 years, but back then I can tell you that for the same price of an existing versus new construction, we got a fully finished basement. That's like, good grief, another 1,600 square feet, fully finished. We picked up a fully finished yard, sprinklers, front yard, backyard, the whole works, with a fence. Picked up some basic window coverings, picked up actually an extra garage, an extra 2-car garage in the backyard, and then a pad, like an RV pad for parking a boat and those types of things. So when we looked at it, Ann and I said, we could go new construction, but this house isn't really that old, and we pick up all these things, which in our minds added up to about $50,000 that we would have to go put into our new home, a brand new house, if we wanted to go that route. Now, Zach, you have recently been in the market for a home. What did you see out there?
Well, it's interesting because when you look on it from an MLS perspective, you go on there, you look at homes, you'll almost see it's very comparable in price. The thing that the builder doesn't tell you is when they're listing that home, they put it as a very base model, bare bones home. And odds are you're going to want to go in there and you're going to upgrade it anywhere from 10 to 15% to get it to a home that you want to live in for 5, 10, 15, 20 years or something like that. And
Right.
So that's one way that I feel like sometimes builders hide certain costs that go into a new construction. The next thing is just those other things that you were talking about, the window coverings, the fences, the sprinklers, all of that. I think that if you were to look at it from a just straight cost perspective, going pre-existing, you're probably getting a little bit more square footage, and just those intangibles that people don't think about when they.
That's a good point, because dollar per square foot will always be higher with new construction. It just is, and rightly so, right? Because the furnace is brand new, the water heater is brand new. It's not going to have to be replaced. But at the same time, like you're saying, on an existing home, people will put $20,000 into landscaping and walk away from it, and now you just got the benefit of all of that. The other thing I think is worth serious consideration is the timing that it takes to build a home. Now, if you can walk in and find one that's already built, that someone fell out of contract, and you can just pick it up and close in 30, 45 days, great. But if you're going to have to wait 9 months, what's going to happen? What are rates going to be at that point? How do you even determine how long to lock your loan? Because most builders won't even give you any kind of a finish date until they're past the 4-way inspection. So in the contract, it says TBD, which means to be determined. They don't want to get tied down to a date. They can't commit to a date. And it's not fair to make them do that, right? Because things are on back order. It happens with our clients all the time. They can't get we had a microwave we were on hold for.
Microwave, asphalt, bathtubs, all kinds of different things.
I mean, just everything under the sun. You'd think, that stuff is available and easy to get. Not always the case. So to give builders, the space to do what they got to do, they can't commit to a specific date. But that does make things tricky, because building a home could take anywhere from 3 months on the short end up to over a year on the long. We've had many clients go over a full year, and it's been tricky for them to plan ahead with their numbers and everything.
Right.
Any other advice you would give?
Yeah, for me, what I usually love to target was finding a home that was like anywhere from 5 to 10 years old. So a lot of this stuff still has a lot of lifetime in it, like the roof, the furnace, different things like that. But they've already done all of the fences, the sprinklers. So I can just move into a home, and from day one, everything's kind of finished.
I like that. And something else to point out right now is the market is soft enough that a buyer could go in, get a home inspection, approach a seller and say, hey, I'd like to have this furnace replaced, or I'd like to have this water heater replaced, or this repair on the roof. And in many cases, you might actually get a seller to agree to that, just because the market is a little soft right now. So great. Well, I think new construction is right for a lot of people and certain situations, and then existing homes is also the right decision for a lot of families, but you just have to weigh the pros and cons of that. If you're listening to this video and you or someone you know needs help just sitting down and talking through pros and cons of new construction versus existing, we'd be happy to sit down and have that conversation with you and just help you sort through it. Thanks.